wasn't going to work and I didn't have any video. Anyway, tonight, it's another live stream, and we are going to be talking about some of the leaks that we've seen this week from DJI. Two, in fact, the new DJI Action 5 Pro. Not just Action 5, we now have a Pro moniker added onto the end of it. But what could that mean? We're going to talk about DJI transmission. Actually, we're going to talk about DJI SDR, another product that DJI is pushing through and playing on the name, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Turn off the voice filter. That got
hit. There we go. That was an accident. There we go. Which one was that as well? That got hit when I was moving stuff around. And we are going to talk about a number of things as we move through tonight. Now, I hope you are all safe. Something just fell over. I don't know what that was. I hope you are all safe and well. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. We're going to also be doing Mad's Mailbag today because there's some stuff I want to talk to you guys about. We're going to show you as well as part of the mailbag as we move through the stream. As always, I had turned down a load of stuff that I wasn't doing reviews and stuff, but I've started saying yes to stuff again, and it's all started to turn up now, which is good, which is really nice and cool, and there's some nice stuff coming around the corner as well, and we're going to talk about that as we move forward. So, really, to start, let me just get myself in order because I'm a little bit behind because nothing worked when I hit the button. I hit the button to come on and nothing actually worked. It was not working as it should have been, but that is always the case. For those of you who saw the live stream on Friday, that was an interesting one. Very strange failure, that. For those who didn't see, I did a live stream on Friday night. I'm losing track of where we were on the teardown of the Goggles X. And do you know what? Do you know what really makes me laugh at times? You really can't win in doing what I do at times. You really can't. No matter what you do, someone will try and find a way of accusing you of lying, accusing you of doing something wrong. And it's so funny how far people think you will go to do stuff. And I'm just finding, why isn't the option there to make that open in a browser? Let me show you this. This is the kind of thing that makes me laugh, right? So I got a post on the repair video, which is this. And this just makes me laugh. LOL, just happened to be in the UK and have already turned them around. I'm deleting this channel. And I can't quite work out if some people are just fucking stupid or they actually believe this stuff. Because I just don't get my head around it. And it just doesn't make sense. And it's just like, really, you honestly think I would go to that length to make a video, that I'd create this whole situation to make Kadex look bad? The reality is I don't need to create a situation because they're very good at doing it themselves. If I'm honest, let's be quite amusing here with this. But I did just find this comment highly amusing, and I don't know if Andy is here. And for those of you in the UK, you'll know that in the UK we have something called Royal Mail Special Delivery. Okay, so that is 24 hours. And actually, it's really good. I don't know if you guys have this in the States. UK is much smaller. So pretty much for a tenner, you can get anything anywhere in the UK the next day. For most small to mid-sized parcels. It's about a tenner. You can go two choices. It's before lunchtime and it's or you can have it before 9. And I don't know if you have it in the US. The UK guys will know about it who are here. And it's great. Royal Mail Special Delivery, about 10 quid. It's about 6 quid for a letter, 10 quid for a small parcel. The goggles cost here, in fact, here is the actual posting receipt of the goggles. Let me just check there's no personal information on this. Right, the only thing I'm going to cover on this is the tracking number. Has it got my card number on this? Let me just check. It shouldn't. It fucking does. Better be careful with that. Oh, it's also got, actually, it has got his address on the bottom. So let me just fold that a second. I just want to make sure I'm reading this. Actually, it's got, yeah, no, it's got bits all over it. I'm not going to show that. But yeah, Royal Mail, next day. It's really good. And basically, he sent them Tuesday. He got them Wednesday morning. He actually put a post on the thing to say they'd arrived and said, hey, they've arrived. And then like an hour later sent me an email saying, oh, in fact, I can show this because I'll put this up because it hasn't got any personal information on it and I've covered all of the details. And just so people know, so this then was the email. So on Wednesday, you can see the date was Wednesday. And it was like, I'm a little embarrassed. I'm a little bit embarrassed, but sorry to report that when I plug in a 4S battery and whatever I do, I cannot get the right screen to work, totally black. Everything in the left screen is fine. I've just turned everything off. And it just, yeah, disappointed. Now, you can see there when I shipped them on the 9th of July. Hello, Andy. I hope you don't mind me showing this just to prove. And Andy will back up my response because that was my response. You are joking. As you've seen, they were sealed. Let me copy you in an email. For fuck's sake. Okay, give me a minute. Now, that, for fuck's sake, wasn't Andy. That is my head losing its shit over Kadex, basically, is what that is. But I just find it amusing just how far people will go to sort of explain, try to prove foul and things like this. So it's funny. But Andy's here. We swapped him around. I had a good chat with him. He's a lovely guy. I hope you're happy, Andy. I'm sorry about the messing around. I really am. You couldn't make this shit up. But what I will say is this. To be fair to Kadex, the kind of failure you had, you can't blame them. The only criticism I will have is I don't see how that wouldn't have been picked up in QA testing. The display is faulty. Now, could have it gone faulty in transit? Yes. I do think that's quite unlikely, if I'm honest. I'm not convinced that display ever worked, is the truth of the matter. For me. So really the timeline was I shipped them Tuesday, he got them Wednesday, he shipped them back Thursday, I got them Friday, and we did the stream. So, is what it is. I've sent an email to Kadex and Kadex support. I'm waiting for them to come back to me now. I've given them, I've just said, look, I'm happy to replace the module if you want to send me one, or I'll put the goggles back together and send them back to you. Happy to do either way. Look, I'm more than happy to repair them, and yeah, look, if that's the case, you know, it's AVI, I like that. Yeah, that's quite funny. Anyway, so that's that. No more drama, no more noise around that. That's it. Right, I just going to say one thing very quickly on something. You may have noticed, you may or may not have noticed, I've taken down the Unusual Machines Rotor Riot video, and I've taken down my posts around that. And the basics are, just so anyone knows, my stance hasn't changed, but I don't really feel that message needs to be there forever. Okay? That message was my heartfelt opinions, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? That came with a lot of noise, kickback, and issues in the background. And whilst I don't usually take content down, I had a long think about this, and I just made a decision. I've said my bit. I've done what I wanted to do, and No, they haven't sent me a check. I have had no contact with them at all. What you guys also have to understand is it comes with a certain amount of abuse, negativity, hassle that you may not always see. And I'm not going to go into great detail. I haven't had someone threaten me to sniper me out. However, I have had some rather unsavory messages. I have had some unwanted attention in other places. And there's just a point where I've gone, it's not worth it for them. So the video I decided to take down, and my opinion doesn't change. That stands. If I'm asked about it, my opinion remains the same. It is what it is. And that's the reason for it. So, yeah, I'm not going there, Sky King. I'm not going there. You can bait me all day long. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Let me just turn to the side a minute. Yeah, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it? But anyway, so I just wanted to say my stance on it. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't need the hassle. Look, I didn't really expect the video to quite get that much traction. But look, it is what it is. So anyways, let's get on with the show. Let's talk about the first thing. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is this. And we're not going to spend too long on these. There's a couple of little subjects we're going to go over. And that is the first leak of the DJI Action 5. We knew it was coming. What is interesting about this is, notice here, the sensor size. And I'll be honest, I missed this first. So the initial rumors were that it was going to be a 1-inch sensor. But no, this isn't. It is 1/1.3, the same as we saw on the previous model, 155-degree field of view and f2.8. Now, I suspect the reason we've not got 1 inch in here is the depth. DJI managed to get 1 inch, though, in the other Osmo. They've done that, but I do think they're probably struggling here. Now, what is interesting and what people are sort of going is, what the bloody hell is so pro about this? And I have a theory on this, right? And let me just get DJI up. DJI up, because I have a theory on the pro on this, right? If we go to the DJI store, we're going to go across to here. And we're going to talk about the Osmo Action, right? And when you look at DJI's store, you've got the 4. If you look at DJI, they currently sell 3 versions, okay, of the Osmo Action. So if we go into View All and click on the 4 standard combo, somewhere down here is a compare. Bloody website is horrible. I'll be honest with you. Where's their... Here it is. So today, DJI have 3 versions. They're selling the 3. They're selling the Osmo Action 4, the Osmo Action 3, and the Osmo Action 2. Now, what I suspect you're seeing here with this Pro labeling is DJI will probably end these 2, right? And I suspect you will then see an Osmo Action 4 Pro, an Osmo Action 4 Standard, and maybe an Osmo Action 4 Mini. I do wonder if DJI is going to keep this size in. I don't know, but it wouldn't take a great deal for them to maybe do something here around that. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I suspect what DJI are doing is going to create more of a stack. Now, as for what the Pro means, I don't know. Look, there's wild explanations. I've been talking about this on my Discord. We've sort of talked about the fact, could it have ProRes? Could. Something interesting is that it basically has a chip on board already that should be able to do the ProRes processing. On the Mavic 3, DJI run the ProRes on, I'm sure they run it on the main chipset. I'm sure they do. So it might run on the Eagle already. I think what you're probably, though, going to see is not ProRes. What I think this will largely have is the same spec as the Action 4, but a little bit more. I'm going to put bets on it will probably work with the DJI mic directly. So rather than have to connect the DJI wireless receiver to it, I reckon you'll be able to connect the DJI mic to the Action 5 Pro directly, so you don't have to have this bulky receiver. I suspect there'll be a few little features that what they're going to call Pro, and then the standard version will basically be the Action 3 that we have today, and then you might see another. I wouldn't think... I don't think you're going to see huge things like ProRes. I'm not convinced you'll see that. It's still a small camera. They may choose to do it. And if they do, that will be game-changing. It really, really will be game-changing. But I suspect the wireless mic, Simon said it's a good job. I think you're going to probably see some like little features that they'll go, oh, this is a Pro feature. It now works with our microphone. It now does this. It now does that. You know, yada, yada, yada. This is DJI. What DJI is absolutely the king of is creating product stacks. Pro, please remove Osmo. DJI is the king of making product stacks. They just, you know, they're the king of this. So that's what I suspect will happen. Pretty much, most likely that. That's really it. Now, when you look through the FCC documentation, there really isn't a lot to see here. I've gone through. In theory, it can definitely receive the wireless off the mic. If you look at the modulation modes it supports, so DJI wireless microphones work off GFSK, basic Bluetooth chipset GSFK, and it does have GSFK here. And whilst that isn't confirmed, it does support the protocol, which I think is pretty likely to happen. So, yeah. Nothing great really in the FCC docs because this is the wireless stuff for this product. It doesn't really tell us a lot. I think it's going to be interesting. What will be interesting is the price because DJI today charged $289 for the Osmo 4 in the UK. I'm not sure what it is in the US. Something actually interesting that she's also mentioned is GoPro also have some GoPro also have some discounts on right now in the US and the UK. So GoPro have some £100 off their bundles. Someone said to me, I'm not sure what the timing of release is of the new GoPros, but GoPro have dropped some money off. $299 for the Hero 12 Black. I think that's okay. That's actually quite tempting. I'll be honest with you. That pricing for me is actually quite tempting because I don't have a 12, although the DJI is cheaper. So perhaps we're going to see a GoPro 13 soon as well. That's the reality of it. Someone has asked for the weight. This spec won't have the weight of the product in it. Does the... No, I don't think the photo has the weight in the E-label either. No, there's no weight in the E-labels. So, yeah, we're pretty much, yeah, that's where we're at. So, that's what we're going to see from DJI. Interesting. Don't expect too much on the Pro. I'll be honest with you. Little features that they'll be able to sell off. Now, alongside this, we also saw some leaks around this. Now, obviously, people got very, very excited when they heard something called DJI SDR is coming soon. People got really excited thinking, oh my God, is there finally going to be an O4 ear unit? This is not for us. This is another version of the DJI transmission. Basically, if you want to know what this is, they've added a screen and Wi-Fi to the DJI current transmission module. You've got a transmitter and a receiver. It's got built-in Wi-Fi. It's got a little screen for selecting the channels. They had a screen before, but they've moved it around. And they're basically making another small wireless transmission system. You can see it there. You can see the modes and everything. What is really quite interesting about this product, and there is something very interesting here, okay? And that is this product, from the looks of it, from what we understand, is still based on O3 Plus. It is still based on the P1 chipset. DJI isn't migrating their newer Pro stuff to O4 or the new S2 chipset. It remains to be working on the original ones, which is quite interesting. The fact that would imply they are still manufacturing the P1 chipset, which does mean the O3 ear unit could be hanging around a bit longer, and the Kadex Vista Runcam Link. I really thought DJI would end the P1 pretty quickly when we moved over to the S2. Maybe because it's a lower volume item. Yeah, and there could be some technical reasons. Like the P1 has a bit more processing than it has more processing than the S2. It just doesn't have the new RF front end. DJI, though, is choosing not to use that new RF front end. What is quite interesting about these products, and I'll show you something now as well, is these are basically DJI O3 ear unit and FPV goggles. We don't have the insides of the new one, right? But what we do have is the inside images of the original one. So this is the last version. This is the DJI transmission, okay? So this is the internal images of DJI transmission. And this thing is literally an O3 ear unit and an FPGA. Okay, so there's no Eagle in here. Instead of them using the Eagle like they use in O3, they've got an FPGA instead. So when we scroll down and get to the RF section, if we zoom in, you can see there's a Lattice FPGA. I don't know what this chipset is. I can't make out this labeling. This is some probably ARM core-based chipset, but I don't know what that is. I can't identify it. These images are just too poor a quality. But you got a Lattice FPGA. This is most likely the main system running the OS and everything else. And then when we go down to the RF board, it literally is a DJI FPV ear unit. The only thing that is quite interesting in this, and I'll show you in a minute, is they use three transceivers, and I don't know why. But there you can see the P1, 2 flash RAM modules, and then on the back, you've got your 2 transceivers there, your power amplifiers, but there's another transceiver here, and I don't quite get why they've got 3 transceivers, because there's only 4 antennas. There's something I don't fully understand about the way they do this. What's also interesting is if we just have a quick look at the inside of the DJI transmission receiver, it says bugger all in this, right? Yeah, no, that chipset is their SDR chipset. No, not rid on the ground stuff. This is ground-based. So in this, there's really very little. Again, they actually have the same RF module. Exactly the same RF module used between the 2 boards. So if we get past all the shielding cans, you can see in here there's some RAM, there's a flash chip, and there's some memory. I think there's an Eagle 3T in here. That looks like the Eagle around there. You've got another SoC over here. But when you get down to it, and this one you see it better, okay? There's a screen on this one. This is the one with the 7-inch screen or the 10-inch screen, whichever it is. So here's the RF module, right? So you've got on this side here your P1, your 2 RAM chips, and an IE1000, right? And then it looks like there's another 2 IE1000s here. If they are IE1000s, I can't quite tell. We've not seen this setup in anything else. I'd like to get some proper images of this. If anyone has one of these with decent images, can you let me know? I'd like to dig in a bit more. There is a screen on. This is the one with the built-in screen. Look, 4 antennas, built-in screen. So that's the DJI unit. But yeah, quite interesting. But it's all based off P1. It's all based off DJI's typical stuff. There really isn't anything particularly interesting here. What I find highly amusing, though, is DJI going, oh, new DJI SDR. SDR, new product, SDR. SDR. Right, let's cut the bullshit. O3, in fact, DJI FPV, O2, OcuSync, OcuSync 2 and OcuSync 3 has been an SDR from the very start. It's all an SDR. Always has been an SDR. So them saying, oh, DJI SDR, it's just marketing bullshit. This is literally the same product they released, just with some tweaks. The only real big difference I think it's got is Wi-Fi. I'll be honest, I think this is going to have like a Wi-Fi feature for streaming to phones or something. That's probably what this is going to have. Yeah, quite funny. Interesting. Don't know what the price is going to be. Yeah, interesting product. There's quite a bit of market building up around this type of stuff now. You get HDMI wireless transmitters. There's all sorts out there. HDMI wireless transmitter and receiver. There's a few companies doing them now. You've got Hollyland Mars is one. You've got a few of these type of products popping up for pro use like this. You're starting to see these hit the market. Yeah, Teradek and people like that. You know, it's this territory of stuff. High latency, you know, you're talking hundreds of milliseconds of latency, usually around 100 on these. It's not low latency. It's designed to get the image over. But yeah, quite interesting. But don't get too excited. There is still no news of O4 ear unit. No news of O3 coming to the Goggles 3. We're still waiting for all of that. You know, there's no change. As for, and I do get a lot of questions on this, you know, when are we going to see O3 support on the Goggles 3? It's when DJI decides. My understanding is all of the information I've heard is it's ready. It's just when DJI choose to do it now. It's all now politics. And if you want the truth, do you want the truth why we haven't got it yet? If we go back to the DJI store, right? You want the truth? What's the stock like? There you go. DJI Goggles Integra are available to order in a couple of days. DJI Goggles 2 are available to order in a couple of days. This is the problem. Until DJI, right, sell off these. What's the stock like in the US? I haven't looked. Yeah, still available. Still available. Until DJI sell out of these, you're not going to see it. Because if they give us O3 support today, there is no reason for new users to buy the goggles Integra. Look, Integra will probably sell okay. What's the price on the goggles? But most people, it risks people not buying these products. That's the problem. That's the issue. It's just very, very much DJI business. What's the price of the goggles 3? I haven't actually looked. So they're $449. There you go, $499. They will not want to be left. There's a $50 difference. See, that's the problem. They're not going to do this until they sell out of this stuff. Goggles Integra, maybe not so. Integra could hang around, but the Goggles 2 need to sell out first. Yeah, the Goggles 2 Integra undercut both of them, and this is the issue. So you're going to have to wait for stock supply to burn through. You know, look, there is still a belief that DJI is working on a budget FPV goggle, but we haven't seen it yet. We don't know what that is. Is it a replacement for the Integras? I don't know. But the reality is DJI is working on a budget drone and goggles. And this is it. So could DJI bring O3 support tomorrow? Yeah. But my belief and feeling on this is, until these stocks start to go down, they've not really got a good reason to do it. And guys, you might call DJI nasty and horrible for doing it. The reality is, it is business. They will not want to be stuck with all of this supply of older goggle that they can't sell or they have to heavily discount. It is just how DJI do business. And it always has been. I don't think there's ever a question here of if they will add support. It's more a question of when. And this is where you got to flip it the other way, because someone said to me the other day, why would they though add support for the goggles 2 and FPV Remote 2 on the Avata 3? Well, that helps them sell things. They can sell more Avata 2, sorry, not the Avata 3. They can sell more Avata 2s. They can sell more goggles on the lower end. It allows them to sell more products. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, really, that is all of the DJI news today. As much as there are people who think I'm paid by DJI. Hello, Open IPC devs. That's pretty much all the DJI news today. That's all we've got. Now, before I move on to the next subject, I should actually quickly go to this, because I haven't mentioned this week. And I should just talk about this, and that is there is a new launch happening from Kadex this week, I believe. I will not be involved in this, so let me just show you this. No, that's not it. 15th of July, tomorrow, the new goggles are launching. There will not be a review from me. That's fact. I have not got them. Kadex have not sent them to me. And so there won't be a review on this product from me. I don't know even if I will bother. They have sort of said they want to send the gimbals over and stuff, but I'll be honest, I think it's a budget box goggle. Everything we know about this is a budget box goggle. So don't expect anything great. All I will tell you is you're going to love where they've put the SD card slot and how easy it is to access. No red eye. No. But yeah, launches tomorrow. I have no official info. Is what it is. I don't look. If they send a set, I'll review them. I'm not gonna run out and buy a set of budget box goggles to review. I didn't feel it was worth reviewing the Fat Shark box goggle. So when Fat Shark released the Avatar compatible one, I didn't bother. I just thought it's not worth it. I don't really cover the budget end. I'll happily review them, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Perhaps I will put up on the community page after the launch do you want me to buy these into review next? Yes, no. And see what people say. If people want me to, I'll review them. I don't know if budget goggles, a box. Look, this channel, if I'm being open and honest here, this channel isn't aimed at new users. So someone like Bardwell, JB, others, they all cover, like, and here's a classic, Nick is great at this. They cover a lot of new stuff. new users, how to get through it. Taka Talks, I saw your post earlier. If you've sent me an email asking you to send you some FPV gear, I'm sorry, but no. End of, not open to discussion. Please don't ask again. It's a bit silly to continue to promote masked photos here after a full... Yeah, where's the other photos? That was the post that they've put up. I'm trying to find them. They're on my Discord somewhere. Let me find it. The full photo is... Where is it? Let me just find it. I can't remember where it is on Facebook, so I'll struggle to find it. Here we go. There it is. So that's what they look like. Yeah, there you go. So... Now, I don't know if this is launching tomorrow. I don't really know. That's the goggles. I showed this last week already. You know, I don't know the pricing. I don't know what it is. But look, my channel really doesn't cater to the new user. It's either the LED or they put the screens in backwards. It's got the headlights. Does it have a rear brake too? But yeah, it's hard to know. Look, it'll be interesting. Not an upshot. How are you? It does look like that's a removable panel. I agree. To me, that looked like a removable panel, but who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So, look, that's happening tomorrow. I do know a couple of creators are doing reviews. I'm not. That's it. You're not going to get anything else from me. I'll be honest. I think Kadex have had far too much promotion on this channel recently, good and bad, but either way, but that is what it is. I'll be honest. I want to get these goggles fixed. I might just do a repair video on that. They haven't replied to my emails on it yet, but it's been the weekend. Really, the only thing I would like a set for is to get on the FPV wiki. That would be the ideal. If I can get images on FPV wiki, if I can borrow a set to do that, that'll be okay. Really, that's about it. You know, it's not an exciting product. That's the thing. The Goggles X were exciting. You know, let's be honest. Right now, we've got a set of gimbals that no one has seen in real person. No one has actually seen the head tracking working via the goggles on it. You've got a lot of promises. You know, look, I'm going to say it again, right? Kadex have put out a statement saying we fixed everything. Look, let's be honest here. And again, I'm getting dragged into... I don't want to slag them off for the sake of it. I don't enjoy doing this, but I'm not being funny. They make this ridiculously easy at times because they keep doing silly things. And the first one is they release gimbals that are all renders that no one apart from the testers have actually seen. They do exist. Testers have them. I think they're finally starting to ship. No one has seen the head tracking working on it yet. The head tracking isn't out there. I'm trying to find Kadex's post, which says, we listened and we did everything. But, well, have you? Because the app still isn't in people's hands. The app is in testing, but it still isn't in people's hands. So they've run around and sort of, again, shot their mouth off before actually delivering. See, look, this is the problem. You know, look, they put this out this week... We received numerous messages of the last year regarding Goggles X. First, thank you all. We've been concerned about our Goggles X time. We never forget our promises at any time. Frankly, our R&D team has been working around the clock since last year to fulfill these promises. Yes, making new products rather than actually fixing this one. We will always prioritize that. For an enhanced experience, we improved the 9-inch axis gyro instead of the old 6-axis version and added a geomagnetic sensor. This upgrade allows easy allows you to easily add the board externally for compatibility with analog VRX and head tracker. So wait a minute, they're now adding a head tracker externally. So why aren't we getting the internal one? Is the internal one going to work? No one's told us anything about that. And let's be honest here, they never promised the head tracking would work with gimbals. They just said it's got head tracking. So they're going to send you this, which is great. Look, this is all nice, but it's like solved. Well, no, it's not solved. The app is not in people's hands yet. This isn't actually available. The gimbals haven't shipped. We've not seen head tracking. So if I'm going to be critical, it is, again, a lot of noise and promises before it has happened. And I think Kadex is a great brand. They actually are really, really good. But here's why I don't have a set of goggles. And here's why I've not received the new VTX, and here's why I've not received the gimbals. Because I'm calling them out on the stuff that they're doing. And I'm not saying they make bad products. I'm not saying they're not a good company. At times, they do some really good stuff. But the reality is they make promises and statements, and they run to the press before they run to production. That is the simplest term that I can give. And they need to stop talking and do more delivering, and then let the delivering do the talking. It's that simple, you know. And again, I think they make some really good products. Avatar is getting there. It's a good system. It's decent enough. It's not perfect. None of them are. It's probably the best overall. But yeah, you know, this type of thing is bullshit. Coming out and just saying, you know, oh, solved. Well, it's not. It's not. Where's the app? You know. But I know it's coming, but, you know. So's the end of the world. The question is, when? That's the reality, you know. Okay, catching up on the chat. 2025. Tomorrow. Okay. Now, well, Justin, you have just tipped onto what I was going to talk about. And I should talk about this. We're going to have to do it. Hell has frozen over, ladies and gentlemen. Things have happened that you won't believe. Orqa have put out a statement. And hell has frozen over. Now, I'm not going to read this whole statement because it's way too long. And frankly, it is a load of huff, guff, and noise, basically saying that they couldn't do it. Now, to be fair to them, and I'm going to be fair, everything they say in here is true, okay? In the sense of, credit where credit is due, DJI consistently builds amazing tech, and their latest digital video system is simply magic. The image quality and link robustness is quite honestly beyond what most of us have been dreaming of when we first start flying. As an engineer and a tech startup founder, I have to admit the engineering that went into it, this goes out to DJI from the bottom of my heart, Chabu Jen, whatever. They basically go on to say that you cannot do this without a custom ASIC. 100%. They're right. It's not easy. It's not hard. What they're basically saying is this. They are still working on things. They do want to make their own system based on their own ASIC. They are going to be releasing something, but it is not going to be ideal for the general public. And basically, that's the inside out. And today the market is more crowded, lada, so forth. But they have officially given an update. Here is what I find very interesting in this, right? Cough, cough, military use. Here is a statement which I find very interesting. Another uncomfortable truth is, sadly, there is no money in consumer FPV. Certainly not the kind of money required to fund the R&D investment that will make tangible technology advances in our hobby. The development of amazing technology DJI have brought to FPV was funded by the millions of Mavics and Matrices they were and still selling to folks around the world who'll be shocked to learn you can fly with a drone with VR goggles. So they are right in that sense. That is true. What is interesting, though, is this is very much laced with, we can't make money in the consumer market, so we're going to be doing they're doing some military stuff, they're doing some government stuff, but hey, we're not leaving. Now, I'm not being hypercritical here like I was with Unusual Machines, because they haven't said they're going to go and make drones to drop bombs. But the reality is, they are making stuff for government and military use. The statement is largely a lot of guff. What they have said, though, is... what are they talking about? I think there's some new products coming from them. They're calling what they have said is their first generation of the DTRX will probably not going to be competitive with the consumer segment, most likely going to be more expensive than DJI solution, so it's likely coming out as an enterprise data link rather than a consumer digital FPV VTX. Frankly, the jury's still out there, but this is how things are looking right now. So that's the reality. Yes, they are still working on Orqa's DTRX, and it will come out eventually, but at least they've given an update. So the update really says it's really hard to do. You need a custom ASIC. We are working on it, but we're not going to be competitive. We're not going to compete with the general market. So we're going to make it for the people who spend loads of money, like £35,000 on a toilet seat, 28 grand on a loo roll holder. And we are going to continue to stay in consumer FPV, but we're probably doing government use as well. James Who, next week, Red Cat purchases Orqa. Could happen. Could happen. So, that's the Orqa news. Now, before we move forward, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. I just need to look at something because my Discord pinged off just now and I don't know what it was. Just reading down. Haven't seen the new Orqa goggles on anyone who wasn't wearing camo. Yeah, they're not selling to consumers. Oh, someone just sent me a picture of the Kadex gimbal, one of the the test guys. They haven't shipped them to consumers. I don't believe consumers have received them yet. Unless you a consumer who ordered one. Because I've heard no one, the guys who've ordered them, I'm getting messages left, right and centre from people saying they haven't received them. Will I be reviewing the TBS stack? No. Unlikely. It's hard to review a render. I could, if you want me to, I can review how well they drew the renders of the stack. Malsec, are Kadex sending me a new OLED? They haven't replied to the emails yet. So I've emailed Kadex and their support, but I haven't heard them yet. Ah, yes. So you've got them from the same supplier who's sending me a set. Yes. Yeah, what I will say is I don't think Kadex are making those gimbals. I said this last week or the week before as well. So, there we go. Okay, catching down on the chat a minute. Right, I just need to catch up on a super chat because someone gave me one. I am a custom drone designer and builder. Thank you, 3216 Workbench, for the £10 super chat. And I can make tight tolerance camera carbon quay. Right, let me restart this. I am a custom drone designer. So let's start it from scratch. 3216 workbench. I am a custom drone designer and builder. And I can make tight tolerance camera carbon cages. Question. Vista Walks in 03 camera dumped or not? Do you mean, are there files that you can use to create the gimbals? Is that what you're saying? The issue you'll have is 03 is 20 by 20. Everything else is 19 by 19. So if you go for a 19 by 19 on everything else and a 20 by 20 for the DJI 03, that will get you there. Why do Kadex not make a VTX with HDMI input? Surely it cannot be that hard. There are complexities to HDMI. There's licensing and there are complexities. It's less about hard, and I guess then it falls into something to understand maybe is they may not be allowed by Artisan. Just remember, Kadex don't own the chipset. We don't know what rights to use that chipset they have. They may not have the rights to use it in a HDMI input situation. That may be reserved for other products. You're designing cutting cages, parts as I need. HDMI has its own license, yeah. I am designing and cutting cages, parts as I need. So what are you after? I don't quite understand the question. Are you looking for the sizes of the cameras? Is that what you're after? They do seem to send me a lot of broken stuff, yes. Especially Kadex. It might be a marketing ploy by Kadex to get me to talk about them. Anyways, moving on. Now, the next subject we're going to talk about is this, Sequire. Now, this is a bit of a complicated one, if I'm honest. Sequire, whichever way we talk about it, they've released a couple of things, actually. They've released a new flight controller, and they've released an ESC. Now, the ESC here says it's available in BL Heli 32 and AM 32. Now, let me just grab these, because I have these here, but I have a bit of a problem, and I'm waiting for them to come back to me on this. So I have both of these. So their flight controller, I think, is really nice, okay? The review of this is coming, or the overview, whatever we want to call it. I think this is really good. 6 UARTs, H743, 16 megs of black box storage, analog OSD chip, 8 motor output capabilities, 4 on the connector there, an additional 4 up here, has I2C port, has, as I said, 6 UARTs, dual BECS, 5 volt, 2.5 amp, 10 volt, 2 amp, selectable as well via a jumper on the board, USB-C port, very nice flight controller. If we just zoom in, it is really nice. I think it's very well put together. 20 by 20, 30 by 30 mount. I have zero complaints. This is a very, very nice flight controller. MPU 6000 as well, by the way. Sequre. Yeah. Sequire, Sequre. I think it's pronounced Sequre. Yeah. It's very nice. No complaints about it at all. I think they've done a great job on the flight controller. Now, the ESC is also incredibly interesting as well. So interesting, in fact, it's not in the box. It's over here. So, the ESC. Now, according to their website, it is available in AM32 or BL Heli 32. It is rated for 70 amp. It has some quite unique features. One of the main ones being you have angled, both vired and castellated pads. So look on the sides. They are all the way down castellated. Really nice. All the way down. The same on these as well. I've just done a temporary connection on there. Really nicely made, I have to say. Really nicely made. However, this ESC is very weird because this ESC that they've shipped me, and I don't know what they've meant to have shipped me, but according to BL Heli Configurator, is shipped with a very early test version of BL Heli 32, version 31.10. Now, when I connect this to BL Heli Configurator, it throws a complete wobbly. It gives me a load of errors. It says it's running test firmware and cannot be upgraded to public firmware. We can't upgrade anyway, right? But it appears to have a test version. Now, I haven't flown it and I haven't tested it. Now, that is worrying. Now, I understand in the marketplace there are going to be ESCs out there that are running versions of BL Heli 32 that were manufactured before they stopped. So 32.9, 32.10. That is fine. Shipping this, though, with 31.10, that is just bizarre, okay? Let me find the BL Heli release notes. Do we have the old release notes for BL Heli? They don't bloody... Trying to find the BL Heli release notes. When was 32.10 even released? 1.10 even released? I don't even know. I don't even know how old that is. BL Heli 32, 31.10. I don't even know when that came out. Has it ever been released? I just don't know. I'm looking for it. It's a test version of BL Heli 32 that was provided for manufacturer testing during development. It was not meant for commercial use. Interesting. In Constance Grace 001, there's a man who knows. So, they are shipping the BL Heli version with a test version. Now, I can't endorse that. What I don't know is, does the AM32 version come with AM32 on? I just don't know. The website sells the BL Heli 32 version and an AM32 version. I hope the AM32 version ships with AM32. I can't review this because, I'm sorry, it's come with a test version of firmware. And I can review it and I can say don't buy it, is what I will say. But I also can't say you should buy the AM32 version because I've not tested it. I don't know it's AM32. And the very fact that this is coming with some random test version worries me greatly. Now, I'm waiting to hear back what the score is at the moment. But that is not good. That is not good. That version must be readily online. There are very few available versions online. But yeah. So, it's a nice looking bit of kit. I really do think it's a nice looking bit of kit. Let's get the focus to work. Come on. Thank you. The ESC has some really nice features. I like castellated pads. I like the wired pads. I like the angling. You're going to have to be a little bit careful when soldering just to make sure that you don't, look, you don't want any excess. You're going to want to be really tight on these as you're doing the soldering. But I actually think it's a very nicely put together ESC. It's got the pinouts there as well. 70 amp rated. And actually, looking under the microscope, the quality is pretty good too. And I'll be honest, I think the flight controller is really nice. I really like what they've done with the FC. Very compact. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. But the only thing it doesn't have is Bluetooth. So, that's the Sequre or Sequire, whichever way we're going to pronounce it. I have sent them an email, and I'm waiting to hear back because at the moment, I don't know what else I can do. You know, shipping this with a strange version of BL Heli is not acceptable. Not acceptable. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens next. The XT60 looks trouble. Yeah, that's just a quick one. I've sold it on for testing. So, now, next we're going to talk about something I've been sent. And I've had a few questions about this, right? Let me go under the top. And we'll go to Q&A after. And that is this stuff. Now, I have this here. Flywoo have sent me their X30 this week. And this is very, very interesting. There are lots of questions, though. And the big questions are, what's in it and is it safe to use? What, you know, should you be careful? Now, the first thing I'm going to say is, this is not conformal coating. So it is not, it doesn't feel chemically like conformal coating. It comes in a bottle like that there. It is completely odorless when you spray it. There is no smell to it at all. No smell. It's like water in that respect. It definitely works. So, if I just grab... Where is my boards? I have some boards here I've been testing it with. They have vanished. Let me grab this old flight controller. So, if I use this a second, so if we go to the overhead on this, so this is a board here, okay? So let me just put a sheet of paper down. Because I don't want it to go on my desk. Okay, so we have here, this is an old bone I've used for parts, but this will give you an idea. So, when you spray it, is it barrow safe? Technically, yes. I would just cover the barrow personally, is what I would do. So, I give it a shake up, right? So I'm going to give it a spray, and you can see it there. So what I've been doing is sort of a few sprays on it, and it dries off instantly, okay? It really does dry instantly. Now, you're going to need to wet it a bit, like that, and then you can see it's wetted. I don't know if it's UV visible. That's an interesting point. Now, if you just watch it, it will start to dry off. So it naturally starts to dry. It behaves basically like Rain-X and those style of products is the term I'll use. So it dries. It does leave a bit of a white residue on chips when you do it. Now, let me just go and get my bowl of water. Forgot to fill this up before the stream started. So, you've seen that dry off there like that, okay? So, we just come out a little bit. So here we have a bowl of water. And a semi-syringe. So, just to show you, it behaves like Rain-X. So if you see it there, the water just beads off. If I now put this under, right? The water just doesn't stick to it. It rolls off the surface. It just doesn't want to stick to it. This won't power on anyway. This is a dead one. So basically, it's that Rain X. Let's go back in. Let's get in. It's that Rain X effect that the water just, it's polished and beeswaxed. Yeah, it's like that, okay? It basically just will not stay on the product. It just runs off straight off the top of it like that, and it falls away. However, now the thing to understand about this is this, okay? And let's just let that refocus. This is not permanent. So, and what I mean by that is this. If you rub it, it will come off. So it's not a permanent coating. So if I rub the top of the chip, it will rub off. It's not a it doesn't smell of anything. It's completely odorless. Completely odorless. So if I give that a bit of a rub, it does come off. And then it does behave differently. So if you now see, right, now the water has stayed on top of the IC, yet the board is, it's running off the board. So if I try and scoop water onto there, you know, like you can see, it's still running off the board, but it has now stuck to the ID. Super hydrophobic, I think you'll find in Morton. But yeah, so that's what it is there. What is not really known about it at this moment in time is this. And let me just, you know, if I bang it down. There is no document for it, no. And I'll talk about that in a minute. What is not really known is how long it will last on a quad. And the bit I'm intrigued, and I don't even know how to test this, is with the vibrations, with everything, how long is this going to last? So if you sprayed your stack before putting it together, because that's going to be the only real way of doing it, you're going to be handling it, so you're going to have to give it a bit of a touch-up and a spray. You're going to have to be really careful handling it. So if you sprayed your board, you're going to have to spray it and then be a bit careful handling it. But also, is it going to come off? How is it affected by heat? That's a really good question. I don't know. UV breakdown, electronic. Yeah, heat is an interesting one. You know what? That is a very interesting subject. I will test that for the review. And I just don't know how the longevity is going to last. Do you know what I mean? But look, it remains to be seen. It's not a conformal coating. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting product. It works. It absolutely works. There's no question about that. It definitely works. But there are bits of it we simply don't understand. And that's the thing that's going to take some time on. But yeah, think of it as a Rain X spray, non-permanent, solderable. Will it fry my VTX when it gets hot? It's not going to fry anything. It's just what effect does the heat have on the substance? That is a very, very good point. Maybe we don't get to know. For sure. Now, it is available from Flywoo. If you're interested in trying it, it's not the cheapest stuff in the world, I'll be honest. Now, as mentioned, there is no data sheet. And I have asked Flywoo about a data sheet. So I have asked that question already. I'm waiting to hear. I am waiting to hear. I have asked that question. Here's what's quite funny. Look at this. The water, I don't know if you can see this. We're right, look at it on the sheet of paper. Oh, you can't see. Wait there. Let me see. Let me try something. Alexa, studio lights off. Alexa, run nighttime. Okay. Right. Can you see that there? On the paper where I sprayed it, I know that's quite hard for you guys to see. But it's beading where I sprayed it on the paper there, look. The water's not soaking in. Actually, it is getting in a little bit if you do it. But yeah, look at that. It's behaving the same. Alexa, run studio lights on. Okay. I have light. I'm not going to taste it. JP Spin FPV. With these products in the past, we know it doesn't like to be handled. If the surface texture breaks down with heat range, electronics operate, it will degrade without contact. That is such a good, interesting question. Bezos is watching me. He has a secretary called Alexa. Yes, I do. But look, it's an interesting product. £20 in the UK. I am going to do a review. Can it be used over silicone conformal coating? I guess so. I haven't tried it. I'll try it on some stuff in the review and I'll let you know. This is just like the nano dip they use on iPhones until Apple bought the company and made it themselves. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff like this out there. Can I handle the dude in the super chat? Look, what I'm not going to be able to do is answer a million questions on a live stream. I appreciate the super chat. Rephrase. Okay, so I'm designing a carbon cage for the O3 camera. Can I mount straight to the carbon or do I need a space for dumpers on the camera? Right. You should, if you're mounting an O3 camera, you want to soft isolate it. O3 should be soft mounted. Definitely if you want to use the gyro stabilization. Less of an issue for the Avatar HD, but if the reality is this, I would soft mount. So if you're making a camera cage to hold the camera, I would have either silicone mounts or some form of mount to isolate it from the vibrations on your frame, if that makes sense. What I'm not going to be able to do is answer a million questions on a live stream like this. It's more technical. I would suggest trying to join my Discord. There is a link to it in the description. Say who you are. Join my Discord if you can. Say, hey, I'm the guy who did the 10... I'm doing this, and then we can definitely talk in more detail. I'm going to struggle on a live stream because you can't get into big technical data. But yes, if you're doing an O3 camera cage, soft mount it. That would be my advice. That was where it was sitting when you sprayed. The paper was it? The paper was sprayed around the outside. But yeah, it's the similar stuff to that. It would be interesting to see if it insulates the rest of the board affects cooling. I wouldn't expect it to affect cooling. I wouldn't expect... Look, this is basically Rain-X, is the simplest term. It dries. It leaves a bit of a white residue. But, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I see similar stuff on my hiking boots. I wonder if it's the same stuff. Yeah, there's a load of super hydroscopic coatings available out there. The idea is the surface texture mimics what you see on a blade of grass. Pardon me, I got a bit of a cold come in. And the beads roll off. There's always an air gap so it doesn't wet the surface. Yeah, there's lots of like carbon nanotubes and there's all sorts of stuff. Does it affect the vision on a camera lens? It does whiten if you spray it, so I would guess yes. Camera lens getting wet. Yeah, the camera lens getting wet. There's just... You need to Rain-X a camera lens, but there's no good way of stopping it. Me too, Matthew. Yes, it started today, about 2 o'clock. I came downstairs and I was like, oh, I can feel a cold coming. I got that taste in my throat. And it's there like that. Okay, so that's that stuff. Not going to spend too much more time on that. That is what it is. Now, a couple other things. So it's been a lot of stuff turning up this week, and then we'll do a bit more of a Q&A session. Let me just make sure what I missed. So a couple of things I need to talk about. A couple of things I need to catch up. So that's that. Right. For those who don't know, I've written an article on the FPV wiki, which is quite interesting. Now, I can't remember if I've discussed this or not on the channel, but I'm going to do it quickly now. So I've written an article on the FPV wiki. If you don't know, I have a wiki called fpvwiki.co.uk where I put up a lot of technical information. Haven't done a lot recently on there, I'll be honest. I've been too busy. But I do put up a lot of technical info. There's teardowns on everything. So for those who don't know, there's teardowns on the Goggle X, you know, Avatar HD VTXs, all the technical info, like teardown images, all of this stuff. Lots and lots of nice stuff. And there's more images going up there of the Avatar HD Goggles X internals, because I got some different images now as well, so that's all going to go up there. But I wrote an article, and I wrote this because on LinkedIn there's a load of people talking complete nonsense, and that is that DJI as a company cannot survive without the Western component supply. And I just don't remember if I spoke about this before or not. So I wrote an article about it, and it is on here, and it's worth a read if you've got 5 minutes. And it's really about the history of DJI's wireless video systems, but also about the chipsets they use. I put this documentation together, and really just showing you how DJI has moved away from being reliant on the West, and actually they're not reliant on the West at all anymore. They're actually completely self-sufficient. But it was a little ago. So, if you're interested in something interesting, it's a good article, I'll be honest. It's a proper piece of journalism, if I'm honest, which you don't get from me very often. And yeah, very interesting indeed, but it's worth a look. It's worth a look. So DJI is just not reliant, and that's the reality. When it comes to today, they're not reliant on Western components at all. That's the truth. They do use some Western components, but it is mostly power regulation. Thanks for not having Google ads all over the wiki. Yes, there is no ads on the wiki. Completely ad-free. That wiki is funded through the support of the Patreons and the people who watch ads on this channel. Yes, there are ads on this channel, but I don't do mid-rolls. I don't do mid-rolls at all. I do start and end ads. But yeah, there are no ads on the wiki at all. Yeah, if you don't know, I need to update it, but there's also a list of FPV-related channels here as well. Although I need to remove one. I haven't done it yet. But yeah, there is a list of... Well, I need to fix that one as well. That's one I need to fix. But yeah, there's a list of channels there too. Lots of technical info. Lots of good stuff on here. Please consider checking it out. Even links down here. Look to AM32 and everything. All here. Links to AM32, BL Heli 32, the driver package, Impulse RC. I keep them all on there, mostly because Curry Kitten's on there. Curry Kitten is on there. Premium, no ads, no commercials. And I get a penny, probably. So, yeah. But I do need to do some updates. Haven't had a chance. What spectrum analyzer software do I use? I use the software is from the manufacturer. So the spectrum analyzer is a Aronia. Aronia AG. This is the company. That's not what I wanted. me do it again. Here we go. I use Aronia. So it's a German spectrum analyzer. No, I'm using a Spectrum R6. Yeah, it's a high. To be honest, this is a high-end PC-based spectrum analyzer. They've now got the R6 V6 Plus. That's the new version. They don't have mine on here now, I don't think. But I actually have this on a. I'm a very lucky man that has it basically on a semi-permanent loan. But if you wanted to buy one of these, the version I've got is £8,000. Yeah. I gave a kidney, an organ, and a thing. But yeah, I have it on a semi-permanent loan. And when I say a semi-permanent loan, the person who lent it to me sent it to me, and I'm not sending it back. It's the semi-permanent loan, and I'm refusing to answer phone calls. It's the simple answer. But yeah, no, Aronia. I have a. Let's just say Aronia supported the channel a little bit with this, to say the least. It's a very, very, very nice bit of kit, and it has a very. It's insane. These aren't for everyone. These are not for your average use. HackRF will do what most people need to do. The big problem with HackRF is whether you can get the bandwidth. I'm not sure what the maximum resolution bandwidth you can get on a HackRF is. I'm just not sure it goes. Mine goes to 185 megahertz. And I can do a real-time sweep from 0 to 6 gigs, but you can't do that on the other stuff. But yeah, it's a phenomenal tool. Yeah, the RTL, there's some really good, like SDRs have come down a lot. SDRs and analyzers have come down a huge amount. You used to be talking 30, 40,000. Good evening. Good night, James. Simple as that. Take it easy, my friend. Have a good evening. Right. So before we do the QA, and actually you can start stacking up the questions, I just want to go through Mailbag because I've had some stuff turn up this week and we should talk about some of this stuff. So something I've got to review is this. Flylens 75. I reviewed the 85. I haven't tried the 75. Has anyone tried the 75? I don't know. The 75. Oh my gosh. Woo. I've got the wrong lens on tonight. I'm a little bit zoomed in. That's going to be a problem. 1 second. I need to change a lens. I forgot I changed the lens. And I haven't changed it back. That's better. I need to turn on autofocus. Woo! Let me just... put that down there. There we go. And let me just fix my OCD. There we go. That's better. So, Flylens 75, haven't opened it. This came in. It came in about 2 weeks ago. I did some of the Flywoo stuff. Haven't opened it. This is the 03 one. They don't ship them with an 03A unit, so you've got to put your own 03 light in the bottom. They're quite nice little craft, these. Every time they've made them, they've been really nice craft. Haven't tried it yet. Need to do a review on it, but that's going to be coming in the near future. There's lots of these little drones out there right now. I haven't, if anyone's got any experience of the Flylens 75, I'm really interested. The 85 was decent enough, I believe. Flywoo do a good job on these little aircraft. You know, they really do. But yeah, quite interesting indeed. Definitely worth a look. I've also, this is really gonna turn people off. I've had a delivery from Free Sky. Now, this isn't a review. The review will be coming soon. But I have had the X14 turn up. Now, for those who haven't seen, the X14 is their new sort of smaller budget radio. Let me get that out. I have actually had Something just fell over. I have had a quick look at this. I spoke about these on the Discord. I haven't spoke about this on the channel, I don't think. I have discussed this on the Discord. But yeah, this is the new X14. It's their more budget radio. Does it do HTX? No, it doesn't. It has Ethos, and I actually really like Ethos. I'll be honest with you. Some things I like about this radio, some things I don't. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's nice. I tell you something I do like. Something I also want to show you is look how thin it is. When you compare it to the Boxer, the depth on the Boxer is like this. It's a substantially thinner radio. It is running Ethos. I like Ethos. This is really sort of aimed as a budget quad-stroke plane radio because it does have sliders, does have pots, has buttons on the back there as well, which is nice to see. Reminiscent of, you know, you've seen some others. Handle on the top's quite large, but yeah, quite interesting radio. There's going to be a full review of it coming, though, in the next couple of weeks, if you're interested in seeing it. Yes, I know, controversial. Yes, they are controversial. But they are making some nice radios. They've also sent me their new small twin receiver. Now, this has come on a long way. So this is their twin setup. And their twin setup's quite interesting, actually, from a technical standpoint. But they've now got their new twin receiver. A lot smaller than the old one. They've really cut them down in sizing now as well. Not quite Express ELRS small, let's be honest. But yeah, it's nice to see. This is the new Twin Mini, which they've done a lot of work on getting this out. So yeah, quite nice to see. The Twin RF system is very interesting as well. I was looking at it on the analyzer, and I need to speak to them to get some technical info from them, actually. But what I'm seeing is it almost looks, there's not a lot of info on their protocol. It almost looks like it's LoRa and FLRC or something like that. It looks like it's using LoRa on one for sure and something else on the other. I'm just not sure what the other protocol is. There's definitely LoRa chirps in there. I can see that on the spectrum analysis. And it transmits them at the same time. It's not staggered. So it's transmitting two different protocols at the same time. So yeah, quite an interesting setup on that as well. There's a couple of other things I've had in this week. I've had a new handheld thermal camera, which we're going to be taking a look at. I'm also trying to get the review of this finished behind me, the Snapmaker. I'm waiting for a delivery from China. I've ordered a couple of things from China, actually. AliExpress this week. Wow. I did a big delivery from AliExpress because I needed some stuff. And I think it'll be here in under a week and a half. It's looking like it's going to end up from China to here in under a week and a half. I've ordered a new microscope camera for this bench. So you know I've got the microscope there, which you can't see. There is the Ekins, which I use for electronic repair and everything. It's not ideal, though, for filming. So I've now ordered an overhead for this bench. And so I'm going to have that permanently here for doing work. Not really work on the bench, but when I want to show something, you can go into the main computer. But I also ordered like some PCB holding tools and stuff like that, which, and I'll be honest, the shipping's like it's looking like it'll be under 2 weeks, which is incredibly fast. Incredibly fast indeed. It really, really is. Now, that is the end of the main subject tonight. So, it's Q&A time. So if anyone has any questions, we're going to do 15 minutes of Q&A because I've got through the subjects quite quickly tonight. Whilst I'm doing that, have I ever tracked NASA weather satellites? No, I haven't. What happened to my studio tracking camera? It's here. It's just not connected. It's not connected at the moment. I was going to buy a Vista off AliExpress, but it wouldn't even ship for 9 days. Like, wow, that's telling. They were quite good. The orders I've placed were really quick. Hey, Madsec, I have a 1S Walk Snail a Walk Snail 1S VTX. Suddenly, after a frame stop, no crashing, started emitting a super low power when armed. Any way to tell if the UFL is somehow gone bad or if it's the PA? You've just, when you say super low power, how do you know? You just get in poor range. Is that what you're getting? Usually, look, you're going to need to get it under a microscope or take a good quality camera image and zoom into it. And what you want to be looking for, and this is a good opportunity for me to plug the wiki again when I find it, because I got a million tabs open. So if we go to the VTX, so Avatar HD VTX. So which one have you got? You said, I have the 1S, Walk Snail 1S. So that's the original 1S. Is it this one you've got, which is the original one, or is it this one you've got, the V2? So you got the V1 and the V2. It's the V3. Well, the V3 is basically this. The V3 is basically this one. The V3 is the race one. You're talking about this one. That is a shit image. I need to do better on that. What you want to be looking at, so there's your UFL. Now, your UFL on this one is probably glued. Here's your PA. You want to be checking that all of these components are in place. That hasn't shifted. That hasn't fallen off. Look, if you go on FPV Wiki, look at yours compared to this. That is a dark image. I need to re-upload that. That's terrible. Let me just download. That is shocking. What this needs is right. So what I'll edit this better. So what you want to be checking. Let's just. Yeah, so your tracked is here, look. So what you want to be doing is making sure all of your components are there. And look on this image on the wiki and start looking for something missing around this area here. If the UFL is like this one, which is glued down, and as long as it's glued, it should be fine. But yeah, start looking at what isn't the same. That's the key. Okay, let me go back up. Are there any AIO-FCs without the analog OSD chip? AIOs. Did the new Flywoos not have an analog? It tends to be standard on the AIOs. I can't think of one. I'm not the best person to answer that, OpenHD. I tell you who, Nick Burns will be the man. Nick Burns would definitely be the man. I can't think of any, but that doesn't mean there are not. Fusion Catalyst. I smoked an AO for my Flywoo Baby Nano 1.6 1S, which is a Flywoo Groco 1S XSRS. Replacement's not available anywhere. What's a good alternative? Look, really, you're looking for whatever fits. Flywoo, though, do have AIOs because they sent me some small ones. So they do have some small ones. So I would just look at what's the... As long as the sizing is right and everything fits, just go for it. Just pick what suits. 2 bars when armed and cuts off after 3 to 5 minutes. Those VTXs are easily damaged. Did I see the new analog receiver by iFront Tech? There's a clear view. No, I haven't. So, iFront Tech. So, are you talking about this? Is this what you're talking about? It's a lot of money. My HLR CG M100 GPS was working fine for a week, but now having a hard time grabbing sats with GPS. Ryan, do you have a digital VTX on it? Digital VTXs can cause problems. Avatar HD especially, and HD0. DJI 3 not so much, but Avatar HD and HD0 will wipe out the VTX. If you're not getting good sat, it could be the digital VTX causing it. What VTX are you using? When is 07 AU coming out? What KV motors for long range efficient 7-inch? You're talking. Look, when you're talking long range 7-inch and efficiency, weight is your enemy. Your motors aren't going to help that much. There are some more efficient motors out there and less efficient motors out there. All of the 7-inch motor sizing, the Eco 2s are very good on a 7-inch. What you're going to be fighting is weight. Your key is keep the weight down. If you can, then go lithium ion. Motor-wise, try the Eco 2s. They're not terrible. My friend has an analog VTX and he's getting huge interference when throttling up, but it's okay when idle or just armed. He's tried moving the VTX away from IAO. Has he got a capacitor on it? There are filters you can also get for the VTX. He's probably getting noise. What you could also try is powering the VTX on a Beck as well. That's what I would try. What microscope am I using? What video microscope am I using? So that is an Eakins. That's one of the ones off AliExpress. If you just search for Eakins microscope, they have them. Same as HD0 VTX. Yeah, that's their new receiver. They claim 4 times the range. Yeah, a lot of money for a receiver. But then again, if you want to fly long-range analog, it's going to be worth a look. 1 watt analog. There's more than that. You've got 3 and 4 watt analogs now. Do I think you should give the TBS stack another chance? I have it, and it's been getting some good tests, and it seems to be very good. I guess a curious FPV. My question is, what does the TBS stack do that none of the other stacks do? That none of the other stacks that you can buy that will fit your existing frame do? That's my issue here is, if I've got to buy a new frame to go with the stack, what's the point? Really, look, let's be open and honest here. TBS didn't solve any problems that exist today. There are thousands of flight controllers, hundreds of flight controllers, hundreds of ESCs. What we don't have is a problem buying a flight controller and ESC for any build. There is every style out there. So my real question is, what are TBS trying to solve? What they're trying to solve is the problem of people not buying their products. So they created their own VTX and ESC based around their own frame design, which is great. You know, I'm not saying proprietary is bad. The problem it is solving isn't really good for users. The problem it's solving is more good for TBS. That's the truth of it. There's nothing special on that flight controller. There's nothing special that a Speedy Bee doesn't have that has a Speedy Bee doesn't, or what you've seen here today from Sequire. You know, what are they doing that this isn't doing? It's really nothing. It's if you want a flight controller from TBS, they're filling that market, and that's it. I'm not really sure what I would say in a review for it. I'm not saying I won't review it, but I'm not really sure that I could go out and I can order it, I can put it on the bench and go, here's 4 features that it's got. It has a place to solder your FC directly that fits ELRS perfectly and extremely flush. That's quite interesting. Yeah. Yeah. The problem with flight controllers is there's thousands of them. And look, the companies keep saying, oh, can we send you this flight controller? It's hard to actually say anything good and bad at times. You just sort of go, I like this, I like that. Has it got 6 UARTs? If we look at the TBS, right, let's just go to TBS a minute. And it's not that I'm against it. I'm just, my sort of point is, what problem is it trying to solve? Like many of the flight controllers. Like many of the flight controllers. Oh, that's not the button. You know, we can go to the shop and see some renders because they don't actually have images of the actual bloody product up there unless they've changed things. Perhaps they've changed things. Who knows? And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not saying... I don't really... You know, look, if we look here. So, it's got this area here. If we go to the freestyle one. Okay, and the pricing is actually good. You can't knock the pricing. $40. That's decent. How much were they? Is this Sequire one today? Let me just go Secure, whatever we're going to bloody call them. Drone parts. So, what is actually very going for that flight controller? You know, that Sequire one is $70. The TBS is cheaper than that. Now I've lost the tab. Where's the tab, TBS? I'm gonna have to close some tabs. 1 second. I've lost the tab. Where is it? Did I open a new window on TBS? No, I didn't. Yeah, you can put your receiver on your thing without adding height. The pricing is actually very good. The flight controller pricing is definitely very good. Let's get back to it. There we go. So, $39 for... The ESC pricing isn't terrible. No, what was the ESC pricing? I think I said this when I was talking about it last time. The pricing was pretty good. Where are we? Am I on flight controllers? ESCs. Yeah, 54 is actually a good price. I just wish it fitted every normal frame. Really, what's going for it is its price. Especially the flight controller, because it will fit your frame. Be nice if they had actual pictures up there. So yeah, being able to put your receiver on the side there, that's quite nice. Is it the best place for it? That remains to be seen. It's just hard with flight controllers. What you say about them. That's the problem. There are so many flight controllers that have a spot for the RX to be pinned. It's nice. It's a nice design. It's not a great design. It's not a terrible design. Any random stock is good if you haven't tried any of the others. Yeah, and that's the reality of it. It's, yeah. Yeah, Brain FPV, I've had quite a few Brain FPVs myself. I've had a Radix, Radix 2, and I had the original RE1. I was actually a big fan of Brain FPV. The RE1 was a very nice stack as well at one point. Yeah, the RE1 was a good one. Big fan of was always a big fan of Brain FPV. Not cheap though. You definitely paid for a Radix. The only thing that really annoyed me about Brain FPV is you always lagged behind the Betaflight releases because they had their own customized color OSD. You never got the Betaflight release when it came out. You always ended up with the release behind, and that was always a bit annoying for me. It's nice to give 2 gyro options as well. Even the 50 quid for the flight controller isn't bad. I can't remember, what's the back on board again? So 6 UARTs, pretty, look, everything here is pretty standard. Look, there is nothing bad here. So, look, you've got F435, 9 volt, 2.5 amp, which for digital, which is absolutely fine. 6 UARTs, which is perfect. Look, it's up there with the others. I think what really sets it apart is actually probably the price. Probably the price is really what is the most interesting thing about this. The ESC is hard to really... look, the price is great. I just wish they'd built it so it fit every frame. That's the reality of it. You know, this nonsense is just nonsense. You know, I still don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right way forward. So, just proprietary for because it can. Okay, catching back up in the chat. What would be nice if they built an ESC that doesn't need an external capacitor. Someone needs to do that. Okay. Any other questions? If anyone's got any questions, put them in the chat now. Oh, I had a super chat as well. Podcast 14 Czar. Thanks for not going Google Ads. I think I read that one out, but just want to make sure I did. Thank you for that. Right. I'm going to end this one there, actually, because we've gone over. I want to say a big thank you for spending time with me tonight. We will be back probably same time, same place next week. Look after yourself, stay safe, and I will speak to you soon. Later.